I don't think anybody is watching these shows because they want to. I think people are watching these shows because they have to. Look, let's just talk about SmackDown. I'm going to try to get through it. I want to just talk about some things first before we get to the show review. One of these things is, what happened to King of the Ring? Last year, King of the Ring was in May. This year, there's apparently no King of the Ring at all. And they're talking about bringing back Evolution. So, there's not going to be a King of the Ring tournament this year? Is that done? Why are we doing, what's that, Night of Champions? Why is that a thing? So that's whatever. No consistency on when the King of the Ring is or whatever. Second, Evolution. I'm one of these people. I don't really care if Evolution comes back. It doesn't bother me because it's not my money that they're spending. I'm okay with them bringing Evolution back if that's what they want to do. As long as the show is fun. But the show can never be fun because the regular shows aren't fun. Saturday night's main event's not going to be fun. Third, where's the stars on this show? No Cena, no Orton, no Rhodes. Nobody's coming to the... Why is SmackDown so unimportant that nobody comes to the show? Now the show is built around Solo Sikoa again. They didn't build the show around Solo Sikoa again. Why? Because you got nobody else? This is a disaster. Absolute full-blown crisis mode. Ever since that bum Road Dogg took over, it's been bad. Alright? It's just been not good. This has been the doldrums. SmackDown has been very bad. Very boring show. Incredibly boring show. We're full of run-ins. Just so many run-ins. There's run-ins literally all the time. But the worst thing about it is nobody feels special. Nobody feels important. And the biggest example of this is that they just signed a guy, brought him in 6 days ago. He shows up on TV wearing a black t-shirt and black pants, and that's it. They didn't even tell you what his full name is. They didn't even fully announce the guy. He just showed up wearing a black shirt and black pants, and he still shows up wearing a black shirt and black pants, standing next to Solo Sikoa. And he looks like he's been there the whole time. He doesn't look new. It's crazy how you can just bring somebody in who had never worked in the company before. Never. He doesn't say 2 words. He doesn't get a proper introduction. And he doesn't look like a badass. He just comes in and he fills in the spot that Tama Tonga and Tongaloa had. Just come in and stand next to Solo. That's all you got to do. And that was it. Ridiculous. Solo and Jacob have an issue. Solo has this issue where he wants Jacob to say that he loves him the way that he used to say it. You know, very homosexual they got going here. It's very disruptive. But Solo is funny. He's mocking the way that Jacob talks. Mocking Jacob's catchphrases. Jacob says he's going to continue being the U.S. champion without Solo. He don't need Solo's help. And as they're getting into it, LA Knight decided to attack them. And it was basically a hit and run attack. This kind of leads to our Money in the Bank qualifier later in the night, where it was Solo Sikoa, Ray Phoenix, and Jimmy Uso in a triple threat match, because Triple H loves triple threat matches. My God, triple threat matches are his jam. Now, here's my issue here. In the earlier women's triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier, Nick Aldis banned people from being at ringside because Chelsea Green, she has a team of people who surround her, and they always interfere. Funnily enough, Solo Sikoa was allowed to have Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo, which I guess is Jeff Cobb's name now. I don't really care about it, but apparently that's his name now. But they're allowed to be at ringside. And yes, they interfered in the match. And yes, that's the reason Solo wins. Why is Ray Phoenix in this position? Why is he the guy doing jobs like this? Him and Dragon Lee being the two guys who are getting kicked in the nuts every week. What's the point? If you're gonna send these guys to AAA or whatever, then they could at least be beating jabronis or something like that, and keep them strong for those shows. Phoenix is just on TV losing for no reason. It's ridiculous. He doesn't even get over in these matches. At least at WrestleMania, you could say he got cheated. Here, you could say he got cheated, but how many times is he going to get fucking cheated? And it's not no heat coming out of this either. It's frustration. The people don't hate the wrestlers anymore for this stuff. They hate the company. Anyway, Solo wins. There was a spot in this match where Charles Robinson had a brain fart. Most people weren't paying attention, but I was. Now, when they did the spot where Rey Fenix was being held up by Solo, and Jimmy was going to do something from the top rope, but then Jimmy landed on his feet and he rolled through. As he's rolling through, he's slow to get up. He kind of grabs his ankle. And that's why Charles Robinson is looking at him instead of looking at Phoenix rolling up Solo Sikoa for the pin. He's making sure Jimmy ain't broke his goddamn ankle over here in this corner. So it's not that he's a bad referee or he's slow on the uptake. He thought Jimmy was hurt. He was making sure Jimmy was okay first. And then he went to... And it wasn't the finish anyway, so it's not like it matters. But you got to throw a little Nate some bail. He wasn't just being shitty at his job, for Christ's sake. Cut him some slack. So now Solo Sikoa is in the Money in the Bank qualifier, and I have to pretend to care about this. This guy has not mattered since January, and now all of a sudden he's in the Money in the Bank picture. 5 months of nothing. He didn't even make WrestleMania. And now he's going to get a Money in the Bank match? Get real. Just get lost. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and Mia Yim. Because Chelsea Green and Mia Yim must be in the same match always. They've been wrestling since September of last year. Since September of last year, they've had Chelsea Green and Mia Yim in matches. You gotta be brain dead is this like one of the greatest rivalries of our time? Am I missing something? Is this the new Brett and Shawn of our generation? Where these people are going to wrestle till the end of time? I don't get it. Alexa Bliss won the match, which is not really all that surprising, but it is kind of surprising. Mia Yim was never an option. Chelsea Green kind of was an option, but I don't know. Maybe there'll be some kind of last chance thing and then she'll get in. Chelsea Green had a little funny promo earlier when she basically was doing presidential puns. When she said when she wins Money in the Bank, she's going to have an economic plan that's going to have trickle-down policy for her secret harvest. And then she's just going to put a tariff on mediocrity. I thought that was pretty funny. But other than that, Chelsea Green is just entertaining. And she doesn't get to be in the Money in the Bank. There's no reason why she can't be in the Money in the Bank. It seemed like a natural step forward after her United States Championship run that she would go in the Money in the Bank picture. It's clear they see Chelsea Green as mid-card and not much more, which is fine. She can be a high-level mid-card player, but she needs things to do, in order to maximize her minutes. But I get it. Alexa Bliss is the bigger star. You put the bigger star in the match. They're doing some kind of storyline between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, where I guess they were talking about being friends, and Alexa Bliss said that Charlotte was a decent person to her back when she came up on NXT. This was over 10 years ago, man. This was a long time ago. This is a really long time ago. But Alexa Bliss wants to be friends with Charlotte, and Charlotte's still a mean bitch who don't want to be friends with Alexa Bliss. Doesn't need Alexa Bliss, she tells her. We are then introduced to Julia, and we're told that Julia is now on the Smackdown roster. They didn't do a good job of making her feel special. She's just standing in the fucking hallway with no facial expression. Just standing in the hallway. Just standing there. And Instead of, why didn't you announce her and then she just shows up next week or something? Or how about you say the new Smackdown signing will debut next week in the Money in the Bank? Because that's what they're doing with her. They put her in the Money in the Bank match immediately against Charlotte and Zelina Vega. This does not bode well for Julia, as once again, she's not put in a position to succeed. She's also not put in a position to get over. This is her first match on SmackDown, and the likelihood of her winning is minimal. And then even if she does win, she's going to get thrown into a 6 to 8 woman match, a ladder match. She's not going to be able to get over in that either. You have to showcase people. For God's sake, stop smothering them in tag matches and triple threats. Showcase them. Let them get in the ring and do what they know how to do. This over-reliance on multiple man matches is getting on my goddamn nerves. Alright? So now you got this girl. You then brought her up from NXT. She only did a couple of months down there. They think she's ready. She comes on Raw. She doesn't win. And now we just going to say, we don't know what to do. We're going to send her to SmackDown. And then we're going to put her in a position to lose again. So no matter where she goes outside of NXT, she's just not going to win. She's losing on NXT. She's losing on Raw. And she's likely going to lose on SmackDown too. Because I don't see them picking her over Charlotte or Zelina Vega. Now, over Zelina Vega, maybe. Over Charlotte, not likely. All right? It's all about whether Julia is going to take the loss or not. Maybe, maybe not. I hope not. She shouldn't even be in this position. She shouldn't even be in this position. The men's Money in the Bank next week is Aleister Black, LA Knight, and Shinsuke Nakamura. LA Knight. The LA Knight fans are having a meltdown. Absolute meltdown. Not just because LA Knight has not been pushed, and they've kind of been waiting patiently for this push since Bray Wyatt was alive. They've been saying, oh yeah, this whole LA Knight thing is just a matter of time, man. It's just a matter of time. That was 2 years ago. It's 2 years ago. He's still nowhere near where he's supposed to be. He's still feuding with Solo Sikoa in the bloodline. Didn't this start in like 2022? Didn't he start feuding with the bloodline? Is it 2022 or 2023? One of the two. It's been over a year of LA Knight having random matches with Solo and Tama and Tonga and Jacob, and now he's wrestling Jeff Cobb. Plain old Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb, of course, interfered in that Money in the Bank match, which led to LA Knight attacking these guys with chairs. And so Nick Aldis, in his infinite wisdom, decided, I'm going to make JC Mateo, who was Jeff Cobb, versus LA Knight right now. And I'm like, huh? Okay, but why is LA Knight in this position? And of course he lost. And why did he lose? Outside interference, of course. Because there's no such thing as a singles match in this company ever. It has to be some sort of run-in. They're so desperate to do run-ins. They had fucking R-Truth do a run-in in the main event of Backlash. Because somebody has to come out of nowhere and interrupt matches. It has to happen. It's absolute chaos, and it happens multiple times per show. So, of course, JC Mateo wins the match because of outside interference. And obviously this feud is not over because that match ended in outside interference. So LA Knight, who doesn't win, lost at WrestleMania, lost at Backlash. He loses his way into the Money in the Bank qualifier. How about you actually win something to get put into the Money in the Bank qualifiers? Because Shinsuke Nakamura hasn't won a match in months either, and he's in this thing. But Nakamura is the one who's cutting the promo, saying that there's a deeper darkness, than what Aleister Black has, and that LA Knight hasn't changed. He's still hungry, His hunger is going to be his undoing. Nakamura referred to himself as the unstoppable blade. I thought that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, Nakamura doesn't do anything on this show. He barely shows up. It's the first time he's shown up in months. So, who knows? Aleister Black, however, well, he wrestles Carmelo Hayes in a rematch because wrestling him last week wasn't enough. Carmelo Hayes cut the best promo he's ever cut. He's never sounded so confident. He's never sounded so focused. Called himself the 10th wonder of the world, says MOE, mellow over everything. This beef ain't over until he wins. Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes. They have a pretty good match. And I'm going to give you the guess of how this match ended. Did you say that there was outside interference? Ding, 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 ding. You win. Because there was more outside interference. Just disqualification because The Miz jumped in. And that was that. The Miz took a black mass for his trouble. But more outside interference. It's excessive. Now, when it comes to the triple threat match next week, Aleister Black shouldn't even be in this position. I don't think he will win. They're probably going to have outside interference. That's going to cost Aleister Black the match. And then probably be LA Knight beating Shinsuke Nakamura to get into the match. That seems to make the most sense. All right? Nakamura's not getting pushed. You know? Now, I thought that they were going to try to do an Aleister Black Shinsuke Nakamura singles match. And I'm interested in that. I really am. But who would run in? I mean, it seems like we have to book the run in when we book the match. No matter what match you book, somebody's got to run in, for God's sake. Fraxium defeated DIY. This match was boring. I know that people kind of like DIY. I don't really care. Afterwards, DIY attacked Fraxium, and the Motor City Machine Guns made the save. The Motor City Machine Guns still not getting a reaction. Just none. Nobody cares about these people. The Fraxium gets a title shot next week because of the Street Profits, who went to Nick Aldis and asked for it. Likely going to be some kind of run-in in that match, too, because of DIY and Motor City Machine Guns and all these teams who want to get back in the title picture. And they once again decide that the Street Profits aren't good enough for pay-per-view or Saturday night's main event, and they have to work on Smackdown. That's basically their role now, is that they're Smackdown guys. They're not allowed to go to any special events whatsoever. A really good R-Truth segment that kind of didn't make sense, but it kind of did. R-Truth had a sit down with Wade Barrett, and he's talking about how, the constant pressures of the world, credit card debt, mortgages, but you could always trust John Cena. He says John Cena's words of hustle, loyalty, and respect are a beacon of light. If John Cena can do it, you can do it too. He said the man that he saw at that press conference is not John Cena. It's not the John Cena he knows. And he doesn't want to fight John Cena. But if that's what it has to take to get John Cena back to his senses, he will do it. And he says he lives by these three words: hustle, loyalty, and respect. And I just very much distracted by R-Truth balding in the front. I don't know if that's just a really, really, really low cut, but it looks like he's balding right where his locks are, right in the front. That's, at a man of his age, it wouldn't be surprised that he's going bald. But that was very distracting. But also, R-Truth wanting to fight Cena in order to make Cena normal is sensible, but it's R-Truth. And of course, you beg the question, why is he getting this match? But again, like I said before, Hulk Hogan wrestled the Genius on Saturday night's main event at one point. It's not a title match, so we're not saying that R-Truth is a top contender or anything. But who's going to run in? So who's going to run in this match? Once John Cena starts to pummeling R-Truth, who shows up? Cody? Probably. Does Randy show up at this point? I don't know who's going to do the run-in. Somebody's got to do a run-in. Drew McIntyre is challenged by Damian Priest to a steel cage match. And of course, Drew McIntyre accepts, but also says that he's been trying to get rid of Damian Priest for a year. and that Damian Priest is obsessed with him and jealous of him, and he thinks that Damian Priest wants to wear his skin. Outside of calling Damian Priest Buffalo Bill, there was no real reason for them to waste our time with Drew McIntyre being in the ring for this promo. Santos Escobar is looking for Berto, but Angel can't seem to find him. Santos Escobar thinks Berto is listening to the wrong people and said that he wants him to come back. He sends Angel to go and get him, go find him, bring him back home. I think we did this already with the Bloodline. Didn't we? And it didn't work here because they never give these people enough time. You want people to care about folks like Santos Escobar and Andrade and all them. They need more time. You know, they come out, they do one thing, and then they're gone for 2 or 3 weeks. They're not on TV enough for anything they do to matter. They're still building up whatever storyline they're trying to do with Phoenix and Andrade. Andrade doesn't wrestle on this show. Andrade is on TV all of 15 seconds a week. For this is the guy, you give him 15 seconds a week. I mean, if you sneeze, you might miss an Andrade segment on this show. But the guy they giving all this time to is Solo Sikoa. For God's sake. Look, comparison is a thief of joy. But you cannot tell me that we haven't already figured out that Solo Sikoa is a massive fraud. A massive, massive fraud. The crowd doesn't really care about him. They like Jacob. They don't care about Solo at all. Not really. Since the Bloodline broke up, I guess you could say Bloodline 2.0, because that would be when Solo was added, the 5-man Bloodline, as opposed to just being Roman and Jay, and Roman and Jay and Jimmy and Paul, and then there's Sammy, and then Sammy's replaced with Solo. No, Solo is added with Sammy, and then Sammy leaves, and then the Usos leave, then Roman leaves. Now it's, Solo and Jacob and Tama and Tonga, and now Tama and Tonga are gone, and Jesus Christ. This thing, the Solo Sikoa draw is insufficient funds. Insufficient funds. You've killed this storyline. You've killed the Bloodline. It's over. It's over. All right. I don't think anybody even wants to see Jacob Fatu fight Solo. I don't think anybody even wants that story. That's how much they've damaged Solo at this point. I don't know how I got back on complaining about Solo and all them, but the main event saw Tiffany Stratton defeat Nia Jax. And guess what? Do you think there was outside interference in this match? Why would there be outside interference in this match? Well, I haven't seen Candice LeRae in forever. So you would think, oh, well, Nia Jax had this little fly flying around her, and maybe Candice LeRae would interfere. No, it's Naomi. Why? I don't know. She's got a chair. Why? I don't know. She's got a chair. She's going to go to the ring. And then here comes Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill fights off Naomi. All of this just to enter the chair into the story. Then we get Nia Jax with the Samoan drop on the desk. The desk doesn't break because it's not enough force. Then we get an attempt at the Samoan drop. Tiffany Stratton pops up, tries to powerbomb Nia Jax, who just lets go and sits on Tiffany's sternum, just crushed her. Good 2 count because Tiffany grabbed the bottom rope. Nia Jax is frustrated. She leaves the ring. The referee starts to count. Somehow the referee gets distracted. Then Nia Jax goes and gets the chair. Tiffany Stratton drop kicks the chair into Nia Jax's face. Hits the PME, wins the match, and the show goes off the air. Just bland from top to bottom. Just a bland, scary bland product. From top to bottom, a scarily bland product. Nothing jumps off they're not even booking the wrestlers to jump off the page anymore. Somebody like Tiffany Stratton should be larger than life at this point. People like Charlotte should be positioned like stars on the show. Somebody like Alexa Bliss, who has been a star in the past, is an afterthought on this show. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, these people don't feel like big stars. They feel like regular ass people that they put on television. That's the problem. That's what's making the product boring. These people don't come across like stars. Even the people who were stars don't feel like stars anymore. They don't carry themselves like stars. They're not presented like stars. They're having conversations in hallways. They just stop having a conversation in the fucking hallway. Why is Charlotte talking to Alexa Bliss in the hallway? She don't have a dressing room? Why is she waiting in the hallway to talk to Nick Aldis? Ain't she a star? Why is she waiting in line with everybody else? I don't know, man. This is all just stupid to me. You know, Vince Russo, and I hate to quote Vince Russo, man, but he basically asked the question I want to ask, and that is it that these guys just needed Vince's leadership? And that what we're seeing now is what happens when Vince McMahon leaves that vacuum of power, where you got this Mark Shapiro guy who's talking about how great Triple H is and all this shit. And he pretty much tells us that it's TKO that's keeping these matches to 5 per event. Now, a cynical part of me would say they're budgeting these shows for that. You don't want to spend too much money on talent for this show so that we can make the most of it. We're going to charge outrageous ticket prices, which they said they're going to continue to do, because they don't see any reason why they should stop. That's just common sense. But you're only going to get 5 match cards because that's what TKO wants. They don't want to pay for all of these people to wrestle on these shows. So they're probably going to end up trimming the roster a lot more, because 5-6 match shows, Raw, SmackDown, etc., only 5 or 6 matches, that's not enough to get most of the people you have signed on the show. It's just not enough. And of course, Triple H is going to say, well, it gives us an opportunity to bulk up the television. Well, the television can be more boring. You think that they would make the TV more exciting. It doesn't. Because now you got half the fucking roster either injured or on vacation all at one time. So now they're trying to build up Money in the Bank with no stars. They're going to fill it with fucking mid-carders. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. It's absurd. Because we know Punk ain't doing no Money in the Bank match. We know Roman ain't doing it. We know Orton ain't doing it. Bianca can't do it. She's injured. Is Becky? Questionable. You know, Charlotte, more than likely. But there's so many people missing from these shows. And then the people who are on the shows are not, it don't feel, I'm just going to say yes. I think Vince Russo is right. The creative vision of Vince McMahon is what drove this company. I say it pretty much every goddamn week. Triple H doesn't have a vision. He is a corporate stooge. He does whatever these empty suits and TKO tells him to do. If they tell him 5 match cards, 5 match cards. I don't know why on earth he would waste a John Cena match on R-Truth as much as everybody loves R-Truth. We love R-Truth. Absolutely we do. Especially over here. Big fans. But it's a waste of a match. It's a waste of bumps. Like, why not put it... Even if they're saying, oh, Cena's picking his own opponent. Some people are saying that's never been John Cena's thing, for starters. Secondly, you should be able to overrule some of these things. There's plenty of people that we want to see John Cena wrestle. I don't think R-Truth was on anybody's list. Will the match be good? It ought to be fine. I don't think it's going to be the shits. But I don't think anybody's going to be too excited about a non-title R-Truth versus John Cena match. I don't think anybody's going to be too excited. And then John Cena says he has, 25 or 24 dates remaining? Ugh. and he has to build up some of these other matches. This is sick. It's sick. And then they're saying, and the internet saying this, I'm gonna give the internet some credit because at least they were right about R-Truth versus John Cena. So maybe they're right about this. That it's going to be Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis at SummerSlam. Now, they did not build towards that at all because Randy Orton wasn't on this show. And Nick Aldis didn't even mention it. Like, you would think that would be an important plot point that you would mention. Even if Orton wasn't there, maybe that would explain why Orton wasn't there. It's because Nick Aldis says, he didn't win the title. I suspended him. I'm tired of all the chaos. I'm tired of everybody thinking they can do whatever they want. I'm putting my foot down. And that would be the reason why he would ban Chelsea Green's help outside the ring. Why he would ban Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo from being ringside. He's tired of it. He's going to start putting his foot down. All these people doing all these run-ins. It's got to stop. People attacking referees. People attacking officials. It's all going to stop. People attacking commentators. He's not going to have that on SmackDown. That's what you could have built this show around. Nick Aldis getting, having this crazy power surge because he got attacked by Randy Orton for like the second or third time. And he's not going to put the crack down on everybody. And then it's a perfect setup for when Orton returns, he could be anti-authority. But that would mean that you would have to actually think about this stuff. Which I don't think they are. They probably think, the RKOs are enough. Most of these people that's watching this show ain't never seen Nick Aldis match in their lives. They don't remember he was the NWA World Champion. They don't remember fucking Adam Pearce being NWA World Champion. They don't remember that stuff. Nobody never seen these people wrestle before. But, look, I'm okay with it because Nick Aldis is a talented guy. And it'll probably be a pretty good match if it were to happen. But I still think it's a better idea for Nick Aldis to suggest somebody else take his spot. That there's a killer or somebody that he gives some kind of favor to, which would have been a good way to introduce Jeff Cobb, really. But whatever. But the Jeff Cobb thing and the Rey Fenix thing and Aleister Black and all them, even Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is doing his best to stand out. He's cutting really good promos. He's in great shape. He's working well with The Miz. The Miz is really hyping him up, even though The Miz is so much bigger than he is. That's the only thing that kind of is throwing me for a loop, is The Miz is so much taller than Carmelo Hayes. But he's doing such a good job, he's not getting anything out of this. Rey Fenix is doing his best, he's not getting anything out of this. LA Knight's been doing his best for 2 years, he's not getting anything out of this. They're still pushing these same fucking guys over and over again. We still got fucking Nia Jax getting pushed. You brought Julia on the roster, but we got Nia Jax in the main event. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I understand that people are Nia Jax has been so much better since she came back, Mongo. Who gives a fuck? I mean, get real. She went from dirty yellow piss to clear piss. She's still piss. She's no good. She might be friends with Tiffany. That might be great. But no. We need to actually start making new stars. At some point. If you were really making new stars, folks would not notice that John Cena and Orton and all them wasn't showing up. If you actually made new stars, we wouldn't even be noticing that stuff. We notice it because you have not made any new stars. We notice that the women's U.S. championship, they're not doing anything with that belt. Zelina's going to be in the Money in the Bank. Okay, where's a contender for her? You're not even working on that, are you? Where's the contenders for Jacob? Are you working on that? Nobody else wants John Cena's belt. You're not working on that either. But it's like, what the fuck is the point of any of this stuff? There's no larger than life characters. There's no big, intense feuds that feel personal and legitimate. The championships aren't really even being defended. What's the point here, man? Like, there's no decent comedy. There's no drama. It's boring. Just an incredibly boring, stiff product. This show sucks.